Welcome to our top cut phase of the Cycle Turtle Blazes presentation of the Spring Challenge 3 tournament here at Bahena, California. I'm Jesus Coronel, that is Dennis Geisler. Our top 4 has been revealed. You saw Angelica Weiss confirmed the #1 overall seed. Mario Bahena did survive and make his way to the 3rd seed. We'll be playing as the 2nd seed, Hayley Aldworth. And the 4th seed looks to be Aaron Lomboy. And here we're going to be presenting Mario versus Hayley, while Aaron and Angelica are the other side of the bracket. Mario once again on the team of Iron Treads, Iron Hands, Maridon, Ho-Oh, Photograph, and Iron Bundle. Hayley on the Tatsugiri Curly, Kawarak Shadow Rider, and Needy Female, Dondozo, Galarian Weezing, and Groudon.
Obviously, it is the Dondozo here. Nobody click away. We love Dondozo. Nobody be mean. The big question is just what does Hayley actually want to play? Because I think Dondozo actually matches up really badly against these Pokemon collectively. Iron Bundle obviously hits it pretty badly with Freeze Dry. And can Encore it so it can't protect ever. Miraidon and Ho-Oh collectively do good damage against Dondozo, and you can burn it. So I think Hayley might actually opt to not bring the Dondozo and just go for the other 4, which if Mario picks up on that, could be pretty nice information to have. Obviously the Indeedee matches up really well into this team, because it turns off the terrain for like 5 of the Pokemon, and Weezing matches up really well because it turns off the terrain for like 5 of the Pokemon. If it comes in on turn 1.
I mean, that's unless Hayley just goes to the Weezing and doesn't respect the Maridon lead, which might be a little disastrous and might not be the best advice.
I mean, the thing is, if you lead either Indeedee or Weezing, then you're shutting off the terrain. And I would be shocked. I'd be pretty surprised if Hayley does not lead either the Weezing or the Indeedee in this matchup.
And speaking of matchups, this will be another case of a gym challenge introducing a brand new champion, because there is another new winner coming in between Mario, Hayley, Angelica, and Aaron. And this is so amazing that so many people has won a gym challenge this season, and like there's been like I think 4 total repeat winners.
Yeah, it's for how strong the region is. You also get so much depth here, which is always so fun to see.
Yeah, and there we go. Mario now locks into this squad. Here we go for our first of 2 semifinals. Again, Mario and Hayley on this first semifinal, Angelica and Aaron on the other side. And we'll be awaiting the winner of this set. Here we go on Mario's POV. And let's see what Hayley brings out to play on her squad. It's going to be Groudon, Dondozo to start. And Mario leads Maridon for Rigorak.
So we do have the Dondozo there. Not something I necessarily anticipated, but you do have the opportunity to switch out the Dondozo into the Indeedee to shut off terrain. Of course, you do already allow the Electric Seed up, but you also can just go for that Dondozo mode if you feel like you're in the right spot in your emotional journey for that.
But what does it accomplish here? Because, like, you do get double stats.
You probably just could Precipice Blades or something.
I was going to say, because I think Dondozo has to either protect or rip that Terastallization on its back, because common Terastallization types for Dondozo, most of it defensively. We've seen Grass, we've seen Steel as of late between these 2. Yeah,
the big thing for Dondozo is that you probably have to wait out one of these 2 restricteds dropping. Because you either need Maridon to be down to be able to Terra to be able to keep your water typing, or for Ho-Oh to be down to Terra into something else.
Or the Ho-Oh just switches in for the Precipice, incoming Precipice Blade should Hayley go for it. Dondozo just switches out too.
Makes sense.
Probably is going to be something disruptive like that indeed to get rid of the electric terrain.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll be the Rock Slide from Groudon. That'd be crazy.
Oh yeah, we've seen the Rock Slide on the moveset before.
Yeah.
It's Precipice Blade. It's not going to work on the Ho-Oh. Connects on the Farigiraf, but it is a +1 defense. However, to take it pretty well.
Pretty alright.
And Foul Blade into the Groudon. It's great high. I mean, it's a high physical attack, but it also has great defense as well. So that's why it didn't do as much.
Yeah, and now the issue for Mario is like, okay, cool. I didn't take a whole lot of damage. Now I get to hit stuff. What do you do now? what do you do with what you're hitting? Because you're being threatened by Rock Slide. If you Terra, you're being threatened by Heat Crash. All of your moves are single target, so Indeedee can just pull them away. And so Groudon is going to just be able to keep hitting right now.
But what exactly does it hit is like the better question to ask, because Precipice Blade is not an option anymore. You could Heat Crash the Farigiraf, because I don't think Farigiraf is that heavy.
Furgiraf isn't that heavy, and you could even read the Terra here and just say, I'm going to Heat Crash the Ho-Oh.
Yes, it's now going for that Terra Grass.
Yeah.
What are you...
It resists Precipice Blades and Rock Slide. It's not immune to Precipice Blades anymore, but it still resists. It still shouldn't take very much damage against it. And the big thing is you don't get, like, dumped by Rock Slide.
Or Sacred Fire in that case from this redirecting Indeedee. It gets burned.
Yeah, and it's Sacred Fire in Sun, which is a new wrinkle.
Rock Slide does come out. It missed something. It misses the Ho-Oh. Furgiraf takes almost nothing from that one. It doesn't flinch. The foul point is redirected to the Indeedee. It gets KO'd.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a big deal. At this point, the problem is that you really, if you're Hayley, you really, if you were going to play Dondozo here, you really needed to get rid of either the Ho-Oh or the Miraidon before Dondozo was able to take the field, because you can't really deal with both of them. And at this point, I think Hayley has reached a point where she won't be able to do that. I like the Tatsugiri switch-in, actually, because now you do have speed control. You can go for something like a Dragon Pulse into Furgiraf and try to play around that.
I think the bigger issue is just, like, you bring in the Tatsugiri here because you maybe want to preserve that Groudon and hopefully have that slot take the least amount of damage as possible, but that's also really risky if Sacred Fire gets clicked into that slot, which seems pretty likely. Although, there's also likelihood that Groudon just clicks Terra Fire, and then, as you said, Tatsugiri just goes for an Icy Wind and speed control from there.
Yeah, like Icy Wind, Heat Crash, alternatively. Like, Ho-Oh honestly has a really free Protect here, and past that, you can just kind of click whatever on Furgiraf.
Let's see what comes out here, as Ho-Oh doesn't need Protect. There are no switch outs. No Terrestrialization either from Hayley's side, so this Tatsugiri is just going to lock that Icy Wind. Okay, so hit right to protect the Ho-Oh. See if it actually hits the Furgiraf. It does, so it will drop that speed. Gets hit with a critical hit. So it takes a lot more damage than it would have liked, and Heat Crash into the Protect.
Yeah.
If Furgiraf has at least something to go for this turn, it might be that Trigger, it could be Psychic. It's foul play. Once again, uses the Groudon. Takes it under half.
Yeah. But at the very least, Hayley does have a play here. It's not any ideal play, but you do have a play. You do have the Icy Wind plus whatever, and if you want to read the Ho-Oh switching out, you can go for something like a Precipice Blades and just be like, okay, YOLO. Because again, you do not win with Dondozo in this setting. Like, you need a little bit more done, because the Ho-Oh's at full HP and the Miraidon's at full HP.
Yeah, with Miraidon at full HP, you know, hard switched out turn 1 because it was still under that Precipice Blade, so...
Yeah.
And it wasn't like you could blame Mario for switching it out early, but, like... You look at the rest of Hayley's team, we know it. There's a Dondozo in the back and an Indeedee that's fainted. What does Dondozo really accomplish anymore? First of all, a Ho-Oh switches out into the Iron Hands from Mario, revealing his last one from game number 1, and here comes a Dondozo in case of place of the Groudon.
Alright, well, we're getting it's Dondozing time. I'm still concerned on the basis of there really isn't... It's going to have to be build up your damage against everything that isn't Ho-Oh with those order-ups, and then try to take out Ho-Oh in one hit. And
it's really hard to
hope there's really a move that'll take out Ho-Oh in one hit at this point.
Foul play the Dondozo, that's really bad damage, and
Unaware ignores its own boosts for foul play. So there's your weird Dondozo fact of this round.
And you're saying, okay, I think this is why you're the Dondozo expert here.
I am playing Dondozo right now. I am bringing Dondozo to Portland. Like, it's...
Alright, now what does Hayley do here? Do you just protect to get the leftovers recovery back to full HP? Okay, so Mario's going to switch out, so the defense was just gone for Furgiraf. I think that's the least of his worries. He wants to pump up the damage out in front of his Iron Hands.
Yeah, it also could be a little dangerous if that's an order up right now, or even an Earthquake, frankly. Oh, but it's probably just going to be a fake out.
Mario tapping his head. That might be like what he's might be doing if it's going to be a Protect read. Or Hayley's just going to go ahead and finally trash slice that Dondozo.
I think that's probably the right play, because you need to take less damage against...
And it's Terra Grass.
All these other Pokemon, yeah. You need to take less damage against Miraidon, you need to take less damage against Iron Hands. You want to take less damage against Ho-Oh, but...
It's fake out.
Yeah.
And that is not doing a lot of damage. Maybe not the move you were going for. Now, Sun's on, but Groudon's going to come back in here after this Dondozo gets done with his work. Baridon kind of has a good time to go for Draco Meteor. As his Iron Hand's going for low kick.
It does, yeah. I think the low kick is a really nice spot here. The Draco Meteor, you can go for it.
Oh, Iron Hand switches.
You can also, like, Volt Switch, because I think you could just Volt Switch.
Oh, Ho-Oh comes in.
Yeah. Because the thing is, Ho-Oh isn't really threatened right now. Earthquake doesn't do anything to it.
Oh, it's Volt Switch.
Yeah.
How much damage? That's around like 20% maybe.
But you get Iron Hands back in is the big thing. And so now it's just a... Because the horrible thing for Dondozo is if you just get hit with a burn. And Sacred Fire has like a 50% burn chance if it hits. So a little under 50% burn chance.
Yeah, Sacred Fire has a 50% chance to burn, but it only has 95% accuracy.
Yeah, but that then...
Earthquake comes out, so it will be resisted by this Ho-Oh. Can this Burger take it? No!
Yeah, and that's, again, not a big deal. At the end of the day, it is just keep stuff around and burn the Dondozo. Like, if you can bring in the hands right here, or even the Miraidon, you feel perfectly fine with the spot that you're in. Oh, it took, I don't know, a little more damage than I would have liked from that Earthquake, if I'm Mario. Even though that was, like, no damage. But that's no damage on...
And Miraidon comes back in.
Yeah, that's no damage on a spread move without any order ups up, like, all that. But the big thing is just, still no, well, we'll wait a moment.
Yeah, we're gonna wait a bit. Okay, looks like presuming this is the move that's locked? No, okay. Well, I mean, Ho-Oh clicking Tailwind's not the worst thing to have because you still gotta deal with a Choice Card Tatsugiri in the back end. Yeah, clicking Draco Meteor, yeah, you're gonna lose Boost, but it won't matter against Unaware. As we see his first Draco Meteor land on Dondozo, that's a lot of damage!
Yeah, Miraidon is still, like, the Giga Boosted Pokemon of all time. It does have Quark Drive and all that. It should drop the... it should drop the Earthquake.
No, it lives on an AHP, so it is going to get another Draco Meteor off, and that might be a critical hit on Ho-Oh. That was not what I was going to be talking about. I was probably talking about this might give an opening for this Miraidon just click Draco Meteor again at the Dondozo, and then Ho-Oh can potentially strike Tatsugiri.
Yeah, Dondozo certainly protects, but that's its own issue. In general, it's just kind of just awkward. It's just an awkward spot to be in right now.
Yeah, now we see Miraidon just switch on to Iron Hands, hopefully to protect turn, as you said. Because if this is protect, that's fake out pressure once again from Mario's side. And Hayley's just running out of time and pretty quickly. No protect comes out. Sacred Fire lands on the Dondozo. Was that a critical hit? If so, no, it was not. It was just enough damage to knock out the Dondozo.
Yep.
Tatsugiri gets out of the mouth though, and Groudon will come in.
Yeah, and I still think this is a very good spot for Mario. Because, I mean, even you get fake out pressure this turn now, I believe. And there really isn't anything that Hayley can do about fake out Sacred Fire into Groudon. If you're Mario, you're not afraid of Tatsugiri.
I mean, you're not worried about it unless, of course, it gets a lot of damage, which right now is not going to be doing with Muddy Water like anytime soon with the sun up.
Muddy Water. The out with Muddy Water is accuracy drops.
But is that something you really want to be going for here? As Iron Hands does quick fake out with Tatsugiri, there's a great amount of damage to it. Sacred Fire into the Groudon, in the sun, enough to knock it out.
And yeah, it's not particularly necessary. I realize now Tailwind is up. It doesn't really matter if the Groudon is... It doesn't really matter what Groudon does if you just believe Sacred Fire is going to KO it, and at this point, Tatsugiri does not really accomplish anything.
No, it does not. It really does not do much of anything here. Ho-Oh goes for the Brave Bird again, into the Tatsugiri. That's a knockout. Mario wins game number 1.
Yeah, and well played by Mario, and I guess I'll say it out loud a second time. I really don't know if Hayley can bring Dondozo in this matchup.
That matchup, that game might have been like the precursor of like why you maybe don't.
Yeah, like Dondozo's... I'm obviously a big Dondozo fan. I think Dondozo's great in a lot of matchups. I think there are a lot of matchups that Dondozo automatically wins, and there's a lot of matchups that Dondozo can't really be present in. And the benefit of a team with Dondozo is that the other 4 can win battles.
We have yet to see a Caloric Shadow Rider come out on stream from Hayley. And this,
Yeah.
honestly, it might have to come out eventually.
Yeah, I mean, she's certainly comfortable with using it. It's what her restricted was in Reg G, but...
It's like the rest of it is just like... Do you feel confident enough to bring the Dondozo? Because I felt like... well, Dondozo's threatened, again, by Miraidon, Iron Hands, Ho-Oh, maybe Iron Bundle. So it's like... You gotta do a lot of work for Dondozo just to get into a position where you can just do the steamroll strategy, but I don't even think there's any opportunity you can get the steamroll up.
That's the thing, knowing that Draco Meteor just like two-shots Dondozo, whether or not you Terra, whether or not you do whatever else, it feels pretty bad, because all the other things, it's like, yeah, Electro Drift does like a gajillion damage if you don't Terra, and Sacred Fire does like a gajillion damage if you do Terra, and it can burn you whether you Terra or not. And Sun is up in a lot of cases, so Wave Crash isn't really ideal, and there are so many different things that are stopping Dondozo from getting a lot of value down, on top of the fact that, like, oh yeah, Draco Meteor. I don't hate the 4 that Mario brought. I think it's probably the correct 4, maybe not necessarily always has to be in that order.
It might not have to be in that order from the looks of things, but like it is hard between these two trainers because again, there's a lot of pressure coming in for this first regulation ice tournament. You know, again, we're getting a new champion, and it's just like both these trainers are trying their hardest to get into the championship winning position, and it's going to be difficult because well, both these trainers feel matchup checked with their Pokemon choices.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of stuff being, like, a lot of stuff being shut down by just a random Pokemon the other person has.
Alright, there we go. There's the Caloric Shadow Rider finally coming out from Hayley in the stream. It's going to be led alongside the Gloria and Weezing on her end, while Mario leads both his restricteds of Ho-Oh and Miraidon. So, the only abilities that are activated are Neutralizing Gas as one.
Yeah, and it means that Miraidon is substantially weaker. We'll see if it's still able to really do anything, but it's a lot weaker. And we're seeing the Calyrex for the first time. Obviously, we've seen a little bit of this Calyrex before. It is the Sash variant, so it doesn't really do a ton of damage, especially to Ho-Oh.
Here's Asteroid coming out immediately.
Should do a little over half to Miraidon and not a ton to Ho-Oh.
Under half to Miraidon, Ho-Oh takes it beautifully well. Here's full switch onto the Weezing. That's over half damage, and it will get out of here after the Citrus Berry Brox.
Yeah. And Weezing will still get a nice little chunk of HP back from that, so not really in a terribly upset spot.
That is okay. It's Iron Hands for Rickard in the back again for Mario here on the stream, and it's going to be that for Rickard coming in. So might be a good reason to bring it in against that Astro Barrage. Ho-Oh, quick stay away.
Yeah, and now you have the ability to foul play and something else into the Calyrex to pick up the knockout.
Poison Gas comes out. Now, does it connect both Pokemon? It avoids the Ho-Oh. It lands on the Perigraph.
So I have this like kind of weird niche opinion. When neutralizing gas is up, I think that Regenerator Pokemon shouldn't be allowed to switch out.
Is that just a statement or is that just a fact?
I think they shouldn't be allowed. Like this is an opinion. I think Game Freak, I know you're listening. This is the only important thing happening right now. I think that it shouldn't be allowed for a Regenerator Pokemon to switch out during neutralizing gas because it's using its ability. Like,
but like I think the interaction you're talking about is that neutralizing gas cancels out Regenerator, which like if it switches out, it won't even get the heal.
I think it does. I think it does when it comes back in.
I could recall that it just doesn't heal when you switch it out, but anyway, here's Sacred Fire onto this Calyrex that's just over half, misses the burn, and there's the tech choice from this Calyrex, this Palm Puff. Not enough to knock out the Perigraph just yet. Foul Play doubles into the Calyrex, and it gets KO'd.
Calyrex is still faster than the first round under Tailwind, though, which is kind of crazy.
That is just base 150 speed from the Calyrex Rider, though. Poison Gas, again, doesn't land on the Ho-Oh. Herrera's already been poisoned. Ho-Oh gets poisoned.
Yeah, does poison the Ho-Oh. I mean, if it's Dondozo in the back, you have a slightly easier time cleaning things up now with a lot of passive damage stacking. And so that might be what Hayley goes for.
Okay, Perigraph only has one more turn.
Yeah, alternatively, we could see a Dinosaur switch in right now, which would be pretty good for Hayley as well. Okay,
it's Dondozo.
It's Dondozo. It's Dondozo the Pompous.
It's always Dondozo. You know, Hayley lives and dies by the sword of the Dondozo. You know,
I'm
who can blame her?
right now that Dondozo's named after Hayley's dog, Poppy. It's Poppy the Pompous.
Ah, that's cute.
Yeah, I'm remembering that now from the last time we played. But yeah, no, it's a pretty... I think this is a much better spot to be in for Hayley, because now you have the ability to try to weaken down the Ho-Oh a bit. You have a lot of passive damage stacking right now.
Ho-Oh switches out.
Okay.
So, with the neutralizing gas, I believe the Ho-Oh should not gain any HP recovery back. And in comes Mario's last Pokemon for game number 2. It's Iron Hands. And in comes the Wheezing out into the Tatsugiri.
Yep. So we've got abilities back. Not that any of these abilities are particularly meaningful right now.
Well, not yet, because the core drive's not up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like right this second, none of them are really doing anything.
And all we see is the Omni Boost from Dondozo Commander.
Yep.
All the stats are going to get raised, and I'm not sure what this Dondozo does. Is it just a quick Earthquake just to be safe, or do you just go for the order up onto the Farigiraf just because it's so free to do? Psychic misses the Wheezing slice and got switched out into the Tatsugiri that's not even there on the field. It's Wave Crash into the Iron Hands. That's well over 2/3 damage.
Did a lot of damage. Did a lot of damage against Iron Hands there. That's the power of Dondozo for sure.
And Farigiraf does go down to poison.
Yeah, it sure will. Which isn't a bad thing for Mario, honestly. I don't know that Farigiraf does a whole lot.
Yes, see, there you go. Ho did not recover any HP.
Yeah, Ho didn't recover any HP. That's cool.
See?
It shouldn't be allowed to switch out. It should be stuck. It should be trapped in. So, Miraidon is in now. Terra hasn't been burned. So at this point, I mean, it comes down to... Can you just click how big your Draco Meteor?
I think the issue is that Dondozo not has enough damage output to win the rest of the game because Miraidon either has to Terrasilize just to avoid Earthquake and then knockout, or it has to risk, that Wave Crash. Which I think is a safer option against that Terra Fairy should want to go for it. Iron Hands switches out into the Ho-Oh. Do we see anything come out from Mario's side? No, it's just going to be a Protect from Dondozo, and that's going to be all it is, except for finding out Mario's move of choice. It's Draco Meteor.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Draco Meteor is the move to use.
Yeah, a bit more leftovers recovery as well.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, is you get the leftovers recovery. I don't know if Ho-Oh outspeeds Dondozo without Tailwind.
And it's gone.
Now Tailwind is gone. Could go for the Tailwind again.
The thing is, a lot of Mario's Pokemon are low on health, so that's like a big issue right now.
That's the thing. I mean, and the good part about it is that if you're able to get out of this, couple of turns, Tatsugiri doesn't have a lot of damage. Wheezing doesn't have a lot of damage. If you can get Dondozo out of the way with, a Draco Meteor, one Draco Meteor is not going to do it, but if you can get the Dondozo out of the way...
Ho-Oh is going to switch out, so we'll get the Regenerator health back, and because Iron Hands for Fake Out Pressure, potentially.
Yeah.
But I also think it's just being the line of fire to get fainted, even though it is going to get that core drive attack boost online now. Draco Meteor connects onto the Dondozo. How much damage is this doing? That is well over 50%, but it's not enough for a knockout from near high HP. Yeah. And Earthquake should double knock out both these electric type Pokemon, and yes, it will. It's Ho-Oh versus the world now for Mario.
Sure is, and even if... I mean, the big problem is that Ho-Oh is poisoned. So even if Ho-Oh is able to get rid of Dondozo, which I don't think is unreasonable to expect in some length of time, Ho-Oh is not going to be able to take out Wheezing and Tatsugiri back-to-back after all that.
Especially since it's still poisoned.
Yeah, especially because it's poisoned. There's not enough turns.
Well, you got the protection correct.
Yeah. Nice little read there. I think that'll make Ho-Oh faster than Dondozo now.
Yeah, there is the tail end coming out from Mario's Ho-Oh, so it will give him the speed advantage against that Ho-Oh.
You might actually have to Sacred Fire into it, weirdly. I mean, it's tough because you're taking so much passive damage, but also...
You could Terra Grass to mitigate the damage against Wave Crash. Mario, so you have the Terra. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think you definitely Terra. It's just a question of what move to use after that, because Brave Bird does so much damage back to you. Sacred Fire doesn't do enough damage, but it does burn it.
Potentially.
The leftover damage, yeah. Potentially. It always burns. Ho-Oh always burns. It always gets the...
It missed the burn earlier, though.
It gets it, like, every time.
You say that, and it just missed the burn on the Calyrex earlier.
Yeah, but that's Calyrex. It doesn't need to burn.
Alright, Terragrass now launches onto this Ho-Oh. Lands a Sacred Fire. That does almost nothing. And there's the burn on the
I told you, it gets the burn every time.
Alright, there's a Wave Crash onto the Terragrass Ho-Oh. It's probably too good. Oh, that actually did around 35%? Oh, that was a critical hit. That might have been why.
Which, the crit doesn't ignore the burn, but it does still boost the damage. Which is pretty nice for Dondozo, I guess. But Dondozo at this point can just, like, protect stall-out turns until Ho-Oh drops to poison at this level of HP remaining. Yeah,
Mario sees he doesn't have enough HP in time to win the game. And I think now the comments of Dondozo not being the win condition might have to be retracted now, as Hayley evens the set at 1 apiece in the semifinal.
Yeah, certainly got it done that time, although, again, it was definitely the wheezing that saved the day there, getting the poison gas down onto the Furigiraffe and the Ho-Oh, being able to kind of stall out turns with that. As well as, honestly, the Shadow Rider at the beginning of the battle getting a bunch of damage down on the Miraidon. Because if Miraidon was able to get 2 hits down onto Dondozo, it would have picked up the knockout. It wasn't able to because it was hit by Astral Barrage turn 1.
Yeah, which made the job easier for the Dondozo to just click Earthquake.
Absolutely. So now the question is, how does Mario want to deal with that set of 4 Pokemon, those being the Weezing, Calyrex, and the Dondozo and the Tatsugiri?
And that's the thing, because...
Because it probably is the same 4, is the problem, and you just need to play around it a little differently.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if Hayley's going to leave the Dondozo behind, because clearly the Dondozo's been working. Well, not in Game 1, but you know what I mean.
That's the thing, it worked in Game 2, although, like... with the momentum that was generated, I don't know if, for example, Groudon and Indeedee would have been able to just win the game on the back of that. My guess is probably. But I get what Mario is kind of struggling with right now, that being, can you bring Furigiraffe into this matchup? Because Furigiraffe really hasn't done anything in this set.
It hasn't any other than Foul Play.
Yeah, Foul Play does good damage to some of the Pokemon, those being Calyrex and Groudon, and it doesn't really accomplish anything else.
Yeah, because you saw how little damage it did to the Dondozo. And it's just like, well...
And it doesn't have Psychic Noise, which would be a counter for the Dondozo. It just has normal Psychic.
I have to think the downfall of the Psychic Noise is because Chien-Pao's been picking up a lot more uses with Pro Chop, which does stop sound-based moves.
Yeah, it sure does.
And that's why Psychic Noise has been on a downtrend lately throughout Regulation G and now into Regulation I. And here we go. 1 battle left to decide our first grand finalist for our Spring Challenge 3 tournament. And we have on Hayley's side, it's going to be Dondozo Calyrex as the lead. Mario leads Miraidon Iron Bundle.
Yeah, and that's a weird lead for Hayley because you're getting the... You're allowing the terrain to get up. And that was the big thing for Hayley in the last game, so the terrain did not get up early, and so the Miraidon wasn't able to do a whole lot of damage, and also now the Iron Bundle is the fastest thing on the field. This is good early momentum for Mario if he's able to actually take advantage of it.
Here's a little fun fact, though. If you switch in Weezing for one of these 2 Pokemon, it turns off the Quark Drive, so it will just make Calyrex the fastest thing in the field.
It does, but also it's not like Calyrex is threatening a KO on either of them right now.
Yeah, because the Iron Bundle is holding up Focus Stats right now, so it's pretty safe to just launch an Icy Wind into both of these Pokemon and get Miraidon an easy tiny quick Volt Switch or Electro Drift.
That's the thing, is I really don't see any downside in something like the Icy Wind and the Volt Switch.
And those are switches. This is Weezing that I was just alluding to.
Indeedee as well.
It's Weezing, so it will turn off the Quark Drive and the Hadron Engine special attack boost.
Yeah. But the terrain is still up if Weezing ever leaves. And it does boost the Volt Switch damage.
There you go, Iron Bundle goes down to that Focus Sash immediately because the special defense stat's really bad.
Yeah.
And Iron Bundle should move next. It's going to land that Icy Wind on both of these Pokemon. Great damage to both. Great to Sash the Calyrex Shadow Rider as well, so it lowers the speed set of each of these Pokemon. Miraidon Volt switches into the Weezing, and it KOs!
I was gonna say, it still probably KOs the Weezing. It's still a Specs Miraidon.
In electric terrain.
In electric terrain, hitting that electric type move into the Weezing, which Weezing not a very bulky Pokemon. And that puts Mario in a really nice spot, because now Dondozo's kind of forced to come back in here. Like, there's not really a lot of good answers. If you can bring in something that genuinely threatens Calyrex right now, you have to feel pretty good if you're Mario, because Dondozo and Calyrex both have the opportunity to protect this turn. You only get the one kind of fluff turn with Dondozo if you switch it in, where it's like, oh, I have Protect and Dondozo's able to sit out here without me being in full Dondozing mode.
The timer's running really low, and Mario does finally make his decision. It's going to be the Ho-Oh switching in for that Miraidon, and this is a really bad spot now for Hayley because Calyrex is underspeeding, so another Icy Wind could potentially leave Ho-Oh faster than Calyrex Shadow Rider. Unless, of course, it was trained to be faster rather than Icy Wind, and in comes that Dondozo, as he said. Dondozo in a very terrible spot because Terra Grass is not going to save it from Freeze Dry being super effective at all, so it might have to protect. Calyrex might have to switch into Tatsugiri, and Ho-Oh kind of just has free reign to either go for a Sacred Fire onto the Dondozo slot or potentially just threaten the Calyrex outright.
I like the idea that Mario wants to go much slower here, though, because Dondozo gets one chance to protect and linger while Calyrex is here. Because the problem is that, yeah, Iron Bundle only gets one hit, and so if you want to get one big freeze dry off...
Calyrex protects too.
Okay. Is everything just going to protect?
Is everything actually going to protect? Ho-Oh protects. That's 3. What did Dondozo do here? It is a 4th Protect, and it's going to fail for Dondozo.
So that means Dondozo still gets to maintain Protect, yeah?
Yes, we saw it earlier.
Yeah, but that also now means it's a little bit of a still kind of weird dicey spot, because Calyrex is still at -1 speed. It still probably wants to switch out on this. Like, you either have to say, okay, I'm still faster than one of these...
Ooh, Iron Bundle switches out. What comes in here? It is Iron Hands. That's the last Pokemon for Mario in this game number 3.
Which is actually interesting, because I think Calyrex has to switch out here because Iron Bundle was threatening Encore.
And it was threatening Encore. Calyrex switches out. Now, what is the last Pokemon from Hayley? Of course, it's a Tatsugiri!
It's gotta be Tatsugiri. There's no way it's not. But now, if Mario sees all of that, sees the entire universe of that, you click Sacred Fire into the Dondozo now.
Or Tailwind.
Or Tailwind, but I guess no reason not to Tailwind at some point, but that Sacred Fire, get that nice tasty burn.
It is Tailwind.
Yeah, Tailwind. You get the Sacred Fire later, I guess.
Now, what did Dondozo do here this turn? It didn't go for Protect, obviously. It goes Order Up onto the Iron Hand slot. And, okay, around 35% HP taken. It will boost Dondozo's attack.
Juicy little attack boost, but the problem is that Ho-Oh is still a big chicken. Like, you don't really... You can maybe...
Oh, hold on. Okay. This is a big pin if Hayley does protect this turn. This is a really big pin if Iron Bundle comes back in.
I mean, even if Hayley doesn't protect, I guess it depends on whether Iron Hands goes for the fake out here. Because even if Hayley doesn't protect, it's still...
I mean, it's also dependent if it goes for the fake out. It goes for the fake out. Okay, so the pin's not there, exactly. I was thinking about a play where it's like, if Hayley protects there and catches the Iron Hand swing for fake out, then Iron Bundle just Encore locks to Dondozo.
Oh, yeah, that's also true. On the protect, but... Even still, now you're still in the... you get the fun freeze dry now. And... How heavy is Dondozo?
I think it's really heavy.
It's like pretty heavy. You can also Drain Punch it to get back your own HP. There are multiple options, I suppose. And
there's also the option
of if Mario just wants to be around to threaten the...
Ooh, there's no Terrestrialization. I was about to point out that maybe Hayley could Terrestrialize against this Iron Hands here, but, you know, maybe Earthquake just knocks it out straight up for a Thrust 3 attack now. It does knock it out, and Iron Bundle goes down too. I don't know if Mario was happy to see that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's actually... That's still under Tailwind, right?
Yeah, there's 2 more turns.
Yeah, that's crazy that Iron Hands is slower.
That might be like Iron Hands that's trained to be super slow.
Yeah, I think that has to be. Yeah, I guess it is the Trick Room set with for a giraffe sometimes. But that was shocking to me actually that it's that slow because yeah, Dondozo, very very slow Pokemon. But now, I think if you're Mario, you still do have a reasonable out, and it's click the big damage button. I think actually you have to go for Electro Drift and not Draco Meteor.
I mean, the thing is, if you do click Electro Drift, you gotta account for Terra Grass and Dondozo, and as does Mario with Wraith Crash.
But that's why you have the Sacred Fire as well. I think you just launch the big damage buttons.
Alright, here's Mario's Terrestrialization. It should be that Ho-Oh once again for Game 3 is Ho-Oh. It's going to Terrestrialize the grass to combat that Wave Crash.
Yeah, I mean, it'll certainly won't get Wave Crashed.
It protects.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a Protect turn. And it also stalls out the last turn of Tailwind, which I'm genuinely not sure. I don't know, have we gotten whether Ho-Oh outspeeds Dondozo?
I think so, because he's got the Tailwind. No, yeah, actually, did we? I'm trying to remember the turn that Ho-Oh went for Tailwind. Was Dondozo able to move that turn?
I was going to say, has anyone confirmed this for us?
Oh, no, it did. Ho-Oh did outspeed because the turn that Ho-Oh went for Tailwind, Dondozo went for Order Up on Iron Hands.
It did. But Mario needs to recognize that and play around that, because you basically lose right now if Dondozo clicks Terra Grass, but if Dondozo clicks Terra Grass, you don't move. And this is a possibility of working. This move has a chance of working, and if it does, if it picks up the KO here.
Yeah, and there's Hayley's Terrestrialization and Dondozo from a water type to a grass type.
And now it's just a question of, does that pick up the necessary KOs?
I mean, do you go for Sacred Fire here, or do you go for Braver for increased damage? That's the other part.
I think you go for Sacred Fire regardless, because if you pick up the burn, you might be able to take a hit.
Here's the Electric Drift and Electric Train and Hadron Engine Boost. Oh, that might not KO. Yeah, it might have to be Sacred Fire that comes out from this Ho-Oh. It does go for it. It lands on the Dondozo. That takes it under 25%. No burn!
Oh, no burn.
Miraidon's gonna go down.
Yeah, Miraidon absolutely drops. Oh, it takes a decent chunk of this as well. Yeah.
Alright, now here's another question now. Can Ho-Oh win a 1v3?
I doubt it. I mean, it'll have to... actually.
Because the last remaining Pokemon are... obviously just under the Tatsugiri in the mouth and the Cavalry Shadow Rider.
Yeah, and the Tatsugiri, I mean, you don't do a ton of damage.
And Sacred Fire missed.
And Sacred Fire misses.
There's Order Up now onto this Ho-Oh. Now going to increase it to a +4 attack. Yeah, that might be game over. This is going to be it for Mario, unfortunately, as Dondozo is going to get a bit more HP recovery.
So everyone gets to see another game of Dondozo.
Oh my god, yeah, there's the forfeit here. Hayley Aldworth has another chance for redemption as she moves on to Grand Finals once again. 2-1.
Yeah, and that was a very close series, and I mean, I was dumping on Dondozo's chances the whole time, but Hayley definitely made it work, even against, again, I think a very difficult matchup for Dondozo. Switching around and putting the Calyrex in the main slot. It's interesting because a lot of people... The Focus Sash Calyrex is such a weird Pokemon to be using because you don't do enough damage to actually take out anything, but Dondozo is great on following up on that because it has the rest of the damage.
That's the thing, and with Dondozo having that much damage output, you might not have to worry about it. I think that's what Hayley ended up realizing. Is like, okay, maybe if I chip down some of these Pokemon, I can make the job easier for Hayley. And breaking news, we have our 2 finalists. Hayley once again in Grand Finals. Her opponent will be Angelica Weiss, the #1 overall seed, undefeated at 5-0. Who's going to win? Will it be Hayley or will it be Angelica? We'll find out after this break.